Thanks very much for coming. Thanks very much for taking a few minutes out of your morning to talk about packets. I happen to like this quote not only because my CEO said it, but because I think it's really quite true. Packets aren't summaries, interpretations, rather they are the immutable truth of the network captured completely and accurately, right? That's the whole premise of why cPacket is here, why cPacket is doing a presentation to talk to all of you very smart people who are busy, who are trying to get things done, to answer questions in your network. The bottom line is we are all about the packets. I have loads of conversations, loads of, even yesterday on the booth, talking about this with many customers, many folks asking me questions about what it's all about. Why do we capture all of these packets? Well, here we are, icebergs. It's exciting. I always love a picture of an iceberg. So many folks out there, and maybe you're one of them, that really wants to focus on this, what we call melt. Obviously, that's lots of terms for that. That's the very visual things that you see in your logs, in your events, you know, what you're capturing possibly in some of your tools. Fine, no problem at all. That's the bit you see on your iceberg. Yeah, that's what we're all about. But the point is that actually the packet data, the actual things that are going across those networks, you know, maybe you've been doing this for quite a long time, involved in network, connecting up all different types of technology, moving those packets around has been a critical part of your career all the way through. So the bottom line is these packets are the bit of the iceberg that you can't always see, but you need to see them. In the same way, if you're in a ship looking at an iceberg, you better watch out for what's happening under that water. The point is that you can really learn a lot about what's really going on in your environment. So here we are. I love this. This is a very basic kind of slide. I appreciate that. But the spirit is, this is where cPacket started, was playing with data, FPGAs, ASICs, packet processing, analytics, all of those kind of pieces to try and build a completely comprehensive picture of your network. Right? That's exactly what we've always done. That's what we still do today. We also then bring the analytics based on the fact that we have all of that packet data, not just some of it. It's not a Swiss cheese like an Emmental filled with holes. Nope, that's not what we're about. We're about trying to get you every single bit of every single packet to try and help you build that analytics decision, and then ultimately that business value at the top, right? I mean, really, as I say, it came up in the keynote this morning, this idea of digital resilience. Right? That's a big word, a big phrase. What's it really going to mean for you and your teams? Maybe that's why you're here at Cisco Live, trying to answer some of these very hard questions. So that business value, that blue triangle at the top, is a critical piece because you or your team or others in your organization are trying to understand everything about this network. Maybe you're under an attack, maybe in a security situation, maybe you've got gaps in your data, maybe you've got latency problems. I was literally talking to a person yesterday talking about voice quality. Now, once again, that's probably not the most typical use case for our products, but it's one that this person likes to use our product for, and he was able to immediately show to his manager that it wasn't the network. You know, it's always the network. Sure, we've had t-shirts like that at Cisco Lives in the past, but the bottom line is it's not always the network. You have to have other things going on. So having that idea of digital resilience and observability is really, really critical indeed. But the point is, you're actually all at Cisco Live. So the chances are you actually believe in packet data. I go to trade shows around the world and talk to groups like yourselves, and people are like, no, I just want my melt data. I just need my logs. Okay, the bottom line is you're missing out on a lot of the facts about your infrastructure. You're missing out on being able to replay the packets. You're missing out on the opportunity to really reconstruct that security event. What happened? Maybe you work for a trading environment. Maybe you need to be able to replay a trade history from that day or from a previous time. These are really, really important things that only come from the packet data themselves. Okay, so what I thought I would do, since let's just assume that's the kind of the baseline, is I thought I would talk about 3 quick myths about packet data, or about maybe your views on packet data. Maybe you are the most confident person sitting here this morning and you're going to tell me, Iain, this is all well and fine. I believe in packets. I believe what you're talking about, but you will never keep up with my performance demands in my infrastructure because I am blah, 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 whatever. Insert here next. Big phrases, big performance. Okay, fine. Bottom line is cPacket has always been about performance. That's our goal, is to be able to offer that high level of packet by packet analysis, doing insights, building that from the C-Store product line, the capture system, and we're definitely up for the challenge of supporting your unique, special, magic, extra fast infrastructure network. Whether it's 10 gig, 200 gig, you want capture, you want indexing, you want analytics all at the same time. That's why I put those ands in capitals. The bottom line is we can do all of that. We can bring that so that you're able to really see exactly what's going on. And then when you want to pull the packets back, you need to have that indexing. You need to have that ready to go. We're even validated by organizations like Tolly and customers like you. If you're interested in that, I'd love to be able to tell you more at our booth. I'll tell you the number at the end of the presentation. Or if you look at this QR code here, you can then download that Tolly test report for the recently released 200S, 200 gig wire speed capture, including indexing, etc., etc. Okay, so that's myth number one. Capture performance can't keep up. I think it's busted. Once again, I appreciate I've got to try and convince you, but I'd love to have that conversation on the booth to be able to do that. What's the second myth that we can talk about this morning really quickly? Cloud and packet capture don't mix. Maybe you're an on-prem kind of organization. Maybe you're just in the cloud. Maybe you're a relatively new business that's gone that direction. So often I hear people who focused on cloud say, no, packets pointless. Packets are pointless in the cloud. Maybe that's you. Maybe that's what you think. Maybe this myth really ties up into your mental models. All I'll say to you is that we are saving customers left and right when they get into these really complicated networking problems in the cloud. You've got multiple VPCs, maybe you've got hybrid, maybe you're sending things to other clouds. You need to be able to prove that it's not you, it's them. It's very, very important indeed. And the point is these things are still essential, even for forensics. Maybe you're in a controlled industry, an industry which requires to keep packet captures for significant lengths of time. 7 days is very popular these times. You could go longer, you can go shorter. Bottom line is you need to be able to have access to those packets to be able to share with those people who care. Hybrid is definitely a critical focus. Once again, yesterday, that's why I love presenting on day 2. I get to talk about all the customers who came and spoke to me on day 1. It's very exciting for me. Bottom line is hybrid. I had people coming around that were using 2 clouds. I don't think I had a 3-cloud one yesterday, but certainly 2 clouds. They really wanted to be able to deliver this hybrid. They had big data centers, et cetera, et cetera. So we, once again, very big one there. And obviously, on-prem and cloud products can easily interconnect. No one's doing hybrid and you just care about one and they care about the other one. You've got to see the whole picture, and that's what we are all about. So I believe, once again, busted. I think the point is that you do need to have these cloud data, and I've got a little special offer for anyone who wants to come and catch me after this presentation. 3-month free trial of our cloud suite. If you want to check that out, be no problem at all. Okay, last myth really quickly. This is all well and interesting, Iain. Maybe you're sitting there thinking, this is great. I'm really interested in this, but it's probably too complicated because I don't have time. I've got too much other responsibilities. I've got too many other problems that I'm trying to deal with. You are just going to bring more difficulty into my life. Well, bottom line is you probably already have some kind of packet brokering situation running in your network, one of those other vendors that are out there around the hall today. Great, fantastic. Get a C-Store, plug it in, it's capturing those packets immediately. You don't need to set it up, you don't need to pick, which sessions you want to capture or a VLAN or whatever else. You're going to plug it in, it's going to work. It's very, very important. What's the second one? Maybe you're more of a span type person. Maybe you don't use packet brokers and taps and all of that stuff. Maybe you just want to use spans off a core router, you want to check something out. Once again, connect the C-Store up and it's going to just start capturing immediately, and you'll be able to jump in and see exactly what is going on. And then ultimately, I mentioned this before, the cloud packet capture, we've got a 5-minute deployment video. I actually counted what the guy did, so he did it in 5 minutes, so that's good. So you can do it in 5 minutes too. From the marketplace, Azure, AWS, etc., you can set that up and you can be going using S3 as a target, and you're all good to go on the cloud side. So, what time is it now? 11:25. I'm nearly done. I think this one's busted too. Once again, complexity is a bit of a complicated word, but I'd be happy to show you some of the things that we're doing. Very happy to have a conversation. So, let's kind of wrap this up. cPacket is the network observability mythbuster, I believe. That's what I'm here to tell you or try and convince you of this morning. cPacket is an experienced player in this whole network observability space, really delivering into that digital resilience message that we heard about just this morning in the keynote. It's very important for your network that you understand. Once again, we tend to focus, and you'll hear me talking about this in other videos online, zero downtime. Maybe you don't think that describes you, but the simple summary is you've got to be able to keep all of this data. You've got to be able to answer the question when somebody comes to you and says, what's going on? What's happening? So anyway, leveraging technologies like our broker, the capture system, the management complex, the whole point is you get full visibility of your hybrid network. Okay. You want to find out some more? Just literally down this hall, we're just down there, 2919, or if you just prefer going online and coming to talk to us later, if you scan this QR code, you will have access to all of our data. So thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Have a great time at the rest of the show.
Let's give it up for Iain. Thank you so much.